Today we're taking a look at our Mamiya 645 to Canon EF mount DLX Stretch lens adapter. This is a lens adapter with a built-in macro helicoid, which means you can turn adapted Mamiya 645 lenses into macro focus lenses. You actually rotate this ring here and it actually extends the adapted lens 10 millimeters away from the sensor of your camera, which means you can turn a vintage Mamiya 645 lens that doesn't have a very good minimum focus into a macro focusing beast. This adapter works with Canon EF mount and Canon EF-S, DSLR, and film SLR cameras. Today we're going to be using this Canon Rebel T3i, which is an EF-S lens. It's an APS-C crop sensor, but this will work with a full frame Canon EF camera as well. Now, one quick thing about adapting Mamiya 645 medium format lenses, you have to make sure that the aperture is set to manual. It's currently set to manual, so that's great. But if we have it set to auto, you'll notice that the aperture is wide open in the lens. And if I rotate the aperture control ring here, you'll notice that it is not opening or closing the aperture. And that's because it's set to auto mode. It's set so the Mamiya 645 camera can control the aperture. So when we're adapting this lens to a digital camera, we're actually going to switch it from auto to manual mode. And then I can show you here, you can actually manually open and close the lens's aperture. Here's how to mount the Mamiya 645 lens onto the adapter. You're just going to line up the red mounting dot on the adapter with the red mounting dot on the lens, push the lens into the adapter and rotate it to lock it into place. And then if you need to remove the Mamiya 645 lens, you're just going to press this silver button here. It looks like a tab, but it's actually a button. Press it down, and then you can remove the lens. Okay, let's mount the lens and adapter onto our Canon EF mount camera. Just going to line up the red mounting dot, push the adapter into the camera and rotate it to lock it into place. And there we go. Now we've got this vintage Mamiya 645 medium format lens adapted to our Canon EF DSLR camera. Now this is a fully manual adapter. There's no electronic communication, so you will have to adjust the focus manually, and you will have to adjust your aperture manually. You won't have any electronic control of focus or aperture in the camera. And then you're either going to want to shoot in full manual mode, or you're going to want to shoot in a shutter or aperture priority mode. Now, if you leave this adapter in standard mode, the lens will work normally. You'll be able to focus to infinity, and it'll just be like a normal lens adapter. But if you want to activate the macro focusing mode, you're actually going to rotate this black ring on the adapter, which activates the macro helicoid built into the adapter. It moves the adapted lens 10 millimeters away from your camera's sensor. And this means you will no longer be able to focus to infinity, but you'll now be able to focus super close up. This lens doesn't have a very good minimum focusing distance. Looks like it's about 1.2 feet. But by adding in that extra 10 millimeters of extension with the macro helicoid built into the adapter, we can increase this minimum focusing distance so we can focus much closer up on our subjects, basically turning this vintage Mamiya 645 lens into a macro focusing lens. Now, if we want to know the exact new minimum focusing distance we're accomplishing with this 10 millimeter macro helicoid, we're going to have to use a simple calculator to calculate that new distance. This is a handy macro extension calculator that we use that's online. I'll link the URL in the video's description so you can use it yourself. First off, we need to enter the native magnification of the lens. The lens we're using in today's video has a native magnification of 0.1. Then we need to enter the lens's focal length, which is 110 millimeters. And then finally, the amount of extension we're adding, and our DLX Stretch adds 10 millimeters of extension. So we calculate that, and our new native magnification is 0.19x, and the new closest focusing distance is 817.2 millimeters. So this is just a useful tool if you're thinking about using a macro helicoid adapter or a macro extension tube, kind of give you an idea of what your new magnification will be when you use one of these tools. DLX Stretch adapters also come with 3 drop-in magnetic ND filters, an ND4, an ND8, and an ND16, and they can be stored in this nice little case that comes with the adapter as well. And these filters are super easy to use. You're just going to flip the adapter over, take your ND filter, I'm going to do the ND4, and you're just going to drop it into the back of the adapter. And the magnet is pretty strong. Here I can show you, I can shake the adapter. That filter is not going anywhere. And this is really useful, especially if you're adapting multiple lenses and you don't want to get a different ND filter for each lens, or you don't want to mess around with step-up rings. Having the ND filter built into the rear of the adapter just makes it a lot easier to have ND filtration with your lens. This adapter is great for shooting macro photography and video, and it's a wonderful way to breathe new life into adapted lenses. If you already adapt Mamiya 645 lenses to your Canon EF camera, but you want to have that extra control, that extra macro focus, the DLX Stretch adapter does just that. It gives you the macro helicoid. It gives you that increased minimum focusing distance so you can focus closer up and you can shoot beautiful macro photos like these. Okay, that was a quick look at our Mamiya 645 to Canon EF DLX Stretch macro helicoid adapter. If you'd like to learn more about this adapter, click the link in the description below, and also click the link in the description below to check out the other types of DLX Stretch adapters we make for Canon EF cameras, as well as our entire line of DLX Stretch adapters. We offer DLX Stretch adapters for a bunch of different camera mount systems and all sorts of vintage and modern lenses. Comment below if you have any questions about anything I said in today's video. I'd love to help you out. Plus, click right here to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more videos just like this one. I'm Sean with Fotodiox.com, and have fun shooting with macro helicoid adapters.